Hello, and welcome to another edition of Boss Talk. I'm your host, Beverly Brister, and my guest today, I'm so excited to talk to her. She, to me, and her business, they are the epitome of what business excellence looks like. She was formerly a chief operating officer of a major health insurance company prior to starting her entrepreneurial journey. And it was through her experience in the healthcare industry that spawned a passion for products that help the skin and that's good to the skin. And then eventually, Natural Sentiments was born. And through the success of her business, her products are now sold in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, and even on Capitol Hill. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. She is as powerful as she is beautiful, and I am so honored to call her my friend. Please welcome Brenda Faust-Thomas to the show. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, Beverly. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I can't complain.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. And, this is going to be great. I always wanted to talk to you and, talk about Natural Sentiments. I've watched how the company has grown, but we'll get into it.
Well, thank you for having me, Beverly. It's so good to be here with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, I know that your experience in the healthcare industry spawned the passion for you to, have your products and wellness company.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the catalyst for you to take the actual entrepreneurial journey?
Well, quite a few things had happened. First of all, I think back in early 2000, my sister started talking to me about eating healthier, right? She's like, you need to stop eating red meat. You need to stop eating this, and I wasn't ready to hear all that at that point in time, but she was. So she had stopped eating, any kind of meat. And as I said, I just wasn't there. And then I also have a very, very good friend of mine was actually a vice president at a bank. And all of a sudden, she got into this health consciousness and she would talk to me about it. She didn't believe in chemicals and preservatives any longer. She no longer wanted to use manufactured products. She was making her own products. And, I was listening, but not really. I mean, I could hear what she was saying, but that was her thing. I wasn't really at that point yet. But working in healthcare, I started to think about, some of the conditions that people had, some of the cases that we had to review, some of the conversations that I was having with the medical directors. And I got just very interested, and I'm thinking to myself, I started to put two and two together, so to speak, a healthier, person, being more health conscious, and then looking at, some of the conditions that people were experiencing, especially as it related to the skin. And that really got my attention. And so I think it was at that point, that was like a pivotal point for me. That's when I really started to pay attention, started looking at, more of the labels and the products that I was using, even food, trying to identify, what are these ingredients? What do they mean? And I started doing a little more research and, just looking things up just for my own edification. And I made the decision after talking with a friend of mine, and she left her position as vice president of the bank and pretty much started her own company. So I took the leap at that point in time. I didn't quit my 9 to 5, but I did take the leap with her and, kind of join forces. She was on the wholesale end and I was on the retail end. So that's kind of how it got started. And, I never really wanted to be an entrepreneur, believe it or not. It was always my goal, in school to work in corporate America, right? To have the nice job in the big office. And I did all of that. And so I took this journey with her. And it turned out to be, in the beginning, it was very good, right? Because it was new and I was learning. And I actually opened a store in Occoquan, Virginia. and that area is known, for their craft shows, and they have
Mm.
3 or 4 times a year. And it was there that I found out that there are people that are interested, in natural products, or
Mhm.
products without,
Right.
chemicals and preservatives.
Mhm.
And whenever they would have their craft shows, my store would be crowded. And if it was in the summer, I could take my products, just walk right outside and set up. And people
Right.
buying them. I was making soap by the loaf then. And I mean, people were just buying it like crazy. And it was so easy for me to just step outside. And so that was really, really well. That was, I enjoyed that very much. And I started to get more and more into it, started doing more research, more studying, talking to people that were into holistic medicine. And it just really piqued my curiosity. At that
Mhm.
too, I even started vending up on Capitol Hill. And that market up there was gorgeous. I mean, it was surrounded by flags, Washington, D.C., right?
Right. Yeah.
Surrounded by flags from all the different countries. And
Mhm.
when I get off from work on Friday evenings, I would stop by the store, gather up my products and load the truck up. And 5 o'clock on Saturday mornings, I'd be on my way up to Capitol Hill, to
Mm.
set up. And I did very, very well there. I met a lot of, congressional folks, while working out there. I had a lot of customers. And so it was during that period of time that everything really kind of took off, and it was
Mm.
quite well. But then the lady wanted her store back. I was leasing the space, so she wanted her store back. And then we had the sniper. And so
Mm.
I had to say goodbye to Capitol Hill. But that's kind of like, that was the catalyst for me, just like people talking to me about, being more health conscious, and,
Mhm.
and then my girlfriend actually, winning me over, and, and just dealing with, some of the conditions that I saw that people had, from a healthcare perspective. And that's kind of like when I made that transition,
Yeah.
to become an entrepreneur. And it has had its ups and downs, and you deal with it, right? Because at some point, things are going to turn around, things are going to change. And as a matter of fact, it was during that time that I met you.
Right.
My Remember that my sister introduced me to you, because I don't even think I had a website at that time.
I don't think so.
So I was wondering, I'm like, oh, my customers, how are they going to continue to buy my products?
Right.
So
Right.
my sister introduced me to you.
I
And
remember.
I forget, that was sometime in early 2000, I think. And
Yeah.
so we talked, but I don't think we ever actually got the website together at that point in time. But later on, we did, right?
Yes.
Remember we were
Yes. I remember.
you
The
and
meeting with Panera.
yes, us are on this virtual call, and you're like designing, and he's like, I think it should be this, and you were very patient, but we did get it together.
We did.
And it worked out very well. And you and I worked together, and you put together a marketing plan for me, and I was like, this is wonderful. And you had all of my social media platforms set up. We had timed posts going out. I was like, oh, this is wonderful. So that was a really good time then. And it was after that too that things kind of dropped off a little bit. I was
Mhm.
traveling. I had left the healthcare industry,
Mhm.
moved over to the government sector,
Right.
and was doing a lot of traveling. And so Natural Sentiments kind of took a back seat at that point in time. So, and that was, for almost maybe 5 or 6 years. I was just doing it on the side a little bit. I wasn't doing
Mhm.
it as much. But that's kind of how I got into this entrepreneurial journey.
It's interesting because everyone has a different story on how they arrive here, and it's
Mhm.
some out of necessity, some by accident, some it's a combination, and it's some other people they have their friends kind of poking and prodding them to go and do it, and then you find out that not only it's your passion, but you were meant to do it because you get the response and you're seeing the results and people getting healed from using products like this and just the joy it brings to them.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, of course, as you mentioned, this entrepreneurial walk is not always easy. Uh,
Right.
was there any barriers to getting Natural Sentiment set up as an actual company, like licensing or product development, supply chain, or any of that that
Um,
you ran into?
Actually, getting the license, was I just had to do the research because when I was working in Capitol Hill, you had to have a license,
Mm.
to operate in DC. So I went through the channels. I found out what those channels were, and just in talking to some of my connections. So I did get a license for DC.
Mm.
Then, when I stopped working in DC and was basically here in Virginia, I worked with the Small Business Association here in Virginia. I became a member of the Small Business Development Center,
Mhm.
and I have a person that I work with. He's my mentor, and he basically just gave me all the information that I needed in terms of, getting licensed to work in Virginia. I don't have, my understanding is you don't have to have a business license, but all the other necessary paperwork that I needed, I worked with that division to get me everything I needed. Of course, there was a cost for everything, but it was just good to have him, have somebody, have that resource that I could reach out to. And it took a
Mm.
little time to do it, but, we got it done. We got it done. So, I needed that too, right? And it was then that I became an LLC. That was another thing I wanted to make sure I had that designation, in place, and I worked with them to make that happen as well. So
Great.
really have a hard time. It was just seeking out the resources, to make that happen. And once I knew who I needed to talk to, who to come in contact with, it wasn't that hard. It was just making a lot of decisions,
Right.
you get the paperwork, you got to make decisions on certain things. And
Mhm.
there wasn't really an obstacle to, in terms of getting all the paperwork in order, getting the LLCs, set up. It
Right.
just took time. It just took time.
Right. Right. That's good. So,
Yeah.
sometimes unfortunately people go through so many hoops or have to go through, or, because they don't do the research up front, or try to take shortcuts or what have you, they run into so many other barriers that could have been avoided. But, you did the research, you took the time to do it, and that's important.
Right.
And I would say that's an early boss tip, but we're going to get to boss tips a little bit later.
Yeah, it was a pain, because you stop and think, oh, I got to do this, I have to do that, but you kind of have to make yourself do it. And I think an important thing is just having those resources,
Right. Right.
available that you can reach out to, and having
Mhm.
that support system. I have a strong support system as well. So
That's key. That's key. And especially when you walk this walk, you will need it.
exactly. So
Now, I know that, the term self-care has become, very common nowadays because health and wellness is become a thing and it's becoming part of people's lifestyle.
mhm.
Uh, we know that it's really important. What is it about your products that distinguishes it from others? Because this market is now becoming quite flooded because it's, now a thing, health and wellness products.
Well, I think my products are the best, right? We make amazing bath and body products without the harmful chemicals and preservatives. And we use only the finest ingredients when we make our products. And we make everything by hand. Everything is done by hand mixed, hand poured, hand wrapped. Everything is done by hand. And so, there's some comfort in knowing that, what ingredients are in the products. You don't have to worry about, what's in them. We're
Right.
making them and we share our ingredients. And so, the hope is that it gives our customers that, satisfaction or assurance, if you will, that
Mhm.
what we use in our products are good for them and good for the skin. And that's what we make sure. That's one thing we make sure of. We make sure that, the ingredients that we're using are actually good for the skin because that's what we focus on.
Right.
The skin is our largest organ. Why not take care of it, right? What you put on your skin, is very important because it seeps into your pores and into the many layers of tissues,
Right.
beneath the skin. And so it's important to us to make sure that we're using only the best ingredients,
Mhm.
those that are going to give the skin, that are going to be optimal for skincare. And that's basically what we focus on.
Great.
And so that's what I think, makes my products, different. I'm sure other people will say the same thing about their products, but
Mm.
my bottom line is we are here to care for the skin. The skin is important. And so everything we do is about taking care of the skin in and of itself. Because what
Wow.
we believe that, we say be kind to your body. That's one of our slogans. Be kind to your body. Your skin will love you. you know, we're
And I
working.
can attest to, your products definitely being made with love and care. And it's definitely different than, I can see and feel the difference and the quality of
I,
your products versus, some others that you may see at some
oh,
local fairs. No slight on them, but I can attest that,
well,
you took the time and did the research.
yeah, we do. And the newest product that I just developed, it's about 6 months in the making, and we birthed that product this month and kind of introduced it yesterday at one of my vending sessions. And so, and as I said, it's quality. It's a quality product.
Yes. And let's talk about some of the products that you have here. Um, you have a good array of products, different categories of products, from your bath salts and soaps to oils and lotions, and like this collection here. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure, I'd love to. So what's pictured here are jars of my body butter. And my body butter, I use 3 different butters. I use mango butter, I use shea butter, and I use cocoa butter. And we blend those together with either jojoba oil or with a coconut oil as a carrier, and then use the specific essential oil. And so depending on, our outcome, we will use, peppermint if we want a peppermint butter, or sandalwood is my number one bestseller. And
Mm.
sandalwood is a very good essential oil, has many, many different talents. And they say, it's also an aphrodisiac. So we kind of gave it the name sultry sandalwood, and people absolutely love it. So we blend the butters, and then we add the essential oil. And the skill is in knowing how much of essential oil to add. Right? You don't want to have
Mhm.
much that it's irritating to the skin, but you want to have enough that it gives off the talent of the oil.
Right.
So and I have my body butters in different fragrances as well,
Mhm.
unscented. And then we have our signature soaps, and we make them in different flavors, if you will.
Mhm.
We make them with essential oil, and we also make them with fragrance oils. And at
Mm.
one point in time, I was just doing essential oil because that was my focus. We're all of our products are going to be all about essential oils because they
Right.
have therapeutic value, right? They're
Mhm.
not, we don't claim that they heal or any of that. We just
Right.
know that there's therapeutic value in essential oils. And so
Mhm.
that's what I was doing at one time. And then my my daughter said to me, why are you just doing essential oil? And I said, I think that's, it's important. It has some value. And she
Right.
said, well, what if I want to smell like a peach? I was like, oh, okay. So I kind of thought about that, and so that's when we started incorporating more of the, fragrance oils in our products. So, we carry essential oils as well as fragrance oils. Here's my body scrubs. I try to make a body scrub so that they're in the same family with the
Mhm.
body butters. It doesn't always work out that way, but we use Himalayan salt in the different fragrances and a carrier oil. And they work very well to exfoliate the skin, and it leaves a nice kind of sheen to your skin as well. But the basic function of the salt is to get rid of the dead cells.
Mm.
So we have the soap that cleanses. We have the salt to exfoliate the skin, and then
Mhm.
the body butter to moisturize.
Mm.
And we've also now and this is my ginger um, body butter, and everyone loves it. It has
Mm.
such a wonderful scent, and ginger's good for you. Ginger is an essential oil. It's very good for you, and
Mm.
so this, my customers love this as well. So all of our products, as I said, are about caring for the skin. This is a
Right.
body butter. This is my mellow mango body butter. It is fabulous. It is
Mm.
fabulous. And it moisturizes, but it's got that fragrance oil. And I thought this picture was really good. Just a mango cut up with I love it.
I'm gonna have to pick some of that up because I do love mango. So
Must. I'm telling you, people love it. And I also have it in a lotion.
mm.
Expanding a little bit too, right? So
Mhm.
we now have lotion in some of the most popular fragrances.
Mhm.
We're going to be rolling out some new things, this season too. I'm looking to get into more of foot care.
Mm.
So I'm doing some research now on what some of the better oils would be, that are good for, taking care of the feet. So we're going to be rolling out some new products this year.
Wonderful, wonderful. But I tell you, talking about, being well-rounded, as everyone sees, it's a well-rounded assortment of products in a lot of different categories for your self-care and your wellness.
Yeah.
But you too are also a well-rounded boss, I'd
Ah,
say. And just from some of the accolades, I'll just read a little bit of them because you have so many that you received the top Virginia employer for Interns Award in 2024 and also nominated again in 2025.
okay.
We're nominated for the Central Virginia's Most Influential Women Award. And not to mention that you also donate, you give back to communities and in organizations like the Doorway organization. They're a nonprofit medical lodging facility,
Yes.
and you do so many good works, and your products are good for people. So, like, how do you balance it all? How do you find the time?
Um, it's not easy. I think one thing that has helped tremendously is that I work from home now. So
Mm.
I'm in the government space now, and so they have told me that my home office is my duty station, and so I save like 4 hours a day in just commuting because I was commuting 2 hours each way. And
Mm.
when I was supporting another project, I was actually working in another, I was flying to the different states. I traveled to within the continental United States and the US territories. And so
Mm.
during that travel, it was difficult.
Yeah.
But now that my home office is my duty station, I've saved basically 4 hours a day in just commuting. So I'm able to push back, at 5 or 5:30, and I just
Mhm.
put on a different hat, if I need to. And so
Right.
that's kind of how I balance that. I take time for my family. I try to anyway, but it kind of works out well. If I was still commuting
Mhm.
to the office, it would not be as easy, for me to do that. But here at home, it makes it easier, right? There's still a lot to do.
Right, of course.
Yeah, but it just makes it a little bit easier, working from home.
Yeah, it definitely does. And sometimes when you work from home, I know even for me, you work harder
Oh, yeah,
sometimes at home than you were if you were to be
exactly.
in the office because it's like, okay, got to take a break, got to
I know.
go, do this. But
I
at
know.
home, it's like
Yeah,
you look up, it's 4 o'clock. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't even have lunch.
exactly, Beverly, exactly. I agree with you 100%.
Been
Sometimes
there,
I sit here and I don't move. I'm like, I have to get up. I have
right?
because it's good to get up, right? And just walk, if nothing else, right?
Right. So
So,
besides having Natural Sentiments, I know you also have a second business. It's BFT Consulting.
yep.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So I think it was right after COVID.
Mm,
I transitioned to another project, and I was an independent contractor. And so I hadn't really called myself anything except an independent contractor. And so, my husband kept saying, you should start your own business. You need to start your own business. And I was, after a while, I thought to myself, why not? And so that's when I just started BFT Consulting, and that I think that was like in October of 2023. But I was an independent contractor, I think, from 2021 up until that time. And so it's that in and of itself has just been wonderful as well. Just the fact that I have my own consulting business, I can go after, different contracts, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
great. Great. And it keeps you busy. It definitely keeps you busy.
That's like my 9 to 5, and Natural Sentiments is like after my 5. But
Right.
there's always a lot to do. You
Mhm.
just you have to have that balance, like you were saying. You have to know when to stop, when to push back, and
Mhm.
when something needs to get done, you do it. Plus the
Right.
fact that I have a lot of resources. I have a lot of support, like my family supports me. I have friends. I
Mhm.
call it my New York contingency. What I'm talking about. Um, my sisters, my daughters, everybody, in my family is totally supportive, even my husband.
Mhm.
But I also have this larger group of resources, and that comes with the Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
Being a member of that organization has just opened up the whole world of business, right? I
Mhm.
think that I would have ever been in contact with or network with so many business owners, so many Black business owners. It's phenomenal. And just the information, the networking,
Mhm.
the resources that we have available. Right
Mhm.
now, I'm applying for this SWAN certification, which is for small minority owned businesses. And once I get that certification, I'm open to, contract or
Mhm.
work with the state of Virginia. So it's things like that. Even having the intern was some information that I got from the chamber as well as from, the Virginia Small Business Development Center.
Right.
Having her come on board, oh my gosh, it was a life-saving thing for me because she does all of
Mhm.
my, social media. She updates all my platforms for me. That's a piece of work that I don't have to do. So
Yeah.
it
And
makes
tell her she's doing an excellent job because I I get all kinds of notifications because I follow you.
Thank you. I think she's wonderful. She's like a lifesaver for me because that's one of the areas, where I was struggling, trying to get, content out there, that marketing, right? And that's a big piece, of your business is being able to market. So
Mhm.
she just took that right off my hands, and
Mm.
it's such a blessing. It really is.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, you are blessed from top to bottom, I tell you, and it's wonderful to have your support system, and it's wonderful to have to. It frees you up to just be you, to express yourself through BFT Consulting, through Natural Sentiments, through any contract that you accept, and it's just great to that you are able to easily operate in those areas. So I
Thank,
thank you for your contributions.
thank you. I definitely feel blessed. Thank you.
Now, being the boss that you are and the experience that you have from corporate to government to entrepreneurship, uh, can you give at least just 3
Mhm,
boss tips
mhm.
that you can share with people that are wanting to either get into this space of the health and wellness field or just wanting to branch out and do their own business? What 3 boss tips could you share?
I think I would say, I think one very important thing is to make sure that that you're building your business, on a firm foundation, that you start off with a firm foundation, right? Like what you want to do. And I think one of the things that would be good to have in place, whether it's an initial startup or if business that's in full swing and growing, is to have a business plan, right? That includes, short-term as well as long-term goals, because that's going to guide you, process, as well as having a marketing plan if one is, specific for the particular business that that an individual wants to get into.
Right.
And then, being able to manage that cash flow, right? And so I think having an accountant is very, very important. Those are just some of the foundational things that I think would be good, for someone that wants to start a business or already in business. And then a vision, like, where do I want to go? Where do I want to be?
Right.
Where I want to take this business. So that would be like one of my first tips. Another one would be resources, like surrounding yourself with people, like-minded individuals, whether mentors or strategic partners, because they're going to spread the word for you. Your customers are going to spread the word for you. So I think that's important, as well as, the work-life balance that you and I just talked about, like taking time for yourself to rest and relax and then, come back strong. I think that's important. A third thing would be to make sure that you always operate from a mindset of abundance, right? Always live like, work and live like your prayers have already been answered, right? Every no, just know there's going to be a yes. For every closed door, just know that a door is going to open. What's for you is going to be for you. Celebrate wins that other people have, but know that yours is coming. So basically it's exceedingly, abundantly, above, what you may ask or think. That, to me, abundance. Just know that it's going to happen if you keep working hard for it.
Wow. Powerful. See, I said powerful and beautiful at the same time. Well, thank you so much for those tips and, all the information you've shared throughout, and for the products and offerings that you have through Natural Sentiments and your consulting firm. How can we find, first of all, where can we find you online and in person, if you're doing specific farmers markets, and how can we support?
Well, online, I'm at www.naturalsentiments.com. And all my products are there. I have a new product that I'm getting ready to add. I'm on Facebook, so I have a page there that's Natural Sentiments. I'm on Twitter. I'm on TikTok and Instagram at Natural Sentiments. So I'm on all of the social media platforms. TikTok is the newest one. I wasn't on TikTok. I got convinced to start, sharing on TikTok. So we're on all of the platforms. And in person, my primary vending I do with the Richmond Night Market. And it happens, it's a very cultural market in Richmond, and it's every second Saturday of the month. And, Natural Sentiments is a known voice in that market. I have lots of customers there. It's a mouth to mouth marketing, right? Like on social media for my products, you can't really get the sense of, that therapeutic value, because you can't smell and feel and touch. But when you're face to face, you can do all of that. And to me, face-to-face marketing is the best thing. So I love vending. I've got a couple of other opportunities coming up before the holidays, but the Richmond Night Market is basically the main one that I do, and that's every month.
Every month. All right. Well, you heard it here. Thank you so much for this. And for everyone who's watching, even if you did not watch this live, you can catch the replay. You can find Brenda and Natural Sentiments online on all of the platforms. And please go back and you have to hear the boss tips. If nothing else, you got to catch the boss tips. She had some powerful things that she shared. And so, Brenda, thank you again so much for this interview and just for your time. Oh, wait, there is one more comment here. Oh.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you. And thank you, Beverly, so much for having me. It's been wonderful being here. And I congratulate you on all the things that you're doing. And,
Thank you.
Back in early 2000 or mid 2000, to where you are now, and even your family, your sons, everybody's doing so well. You have a son that's an entrepreneur.
Yes,
And
yes.
into music, and it's so wonderful. And then your husband, I saw a post with from your husband in the muscle building. I was like, so congratulations to you, because you've done some wonderful things and continue to do them. So
thank you so much. Thank
yes.
you. Appreciate it.
Thank
So
you.
thank you. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And watch our next episode as we continue with Boss Talk for the rest of the season. Brenda, again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure having you here and Natural Sentiments.
Thank you, Beverly. It's a pleasure to be here.